spiritual people have a value in feeling above all else. That is like the fundamental principle about spiritualities. They get to feel a certain way. Now, a lot of that feeling is an elated, high sense of peace and alignment and like a feeling of absolute joy and blissfulness. So for those of you who have felt this after the awakening, and for those of you who haven't felt this at all and want to understand it, these 5 habits of highly spiritual people can be applied to anyone to change how you get to feel in your day-to-day life. Because that's honestly why we do anything. If you think about it, why do anything if not to feel a certain way? And this last point about true giving will absolutely shape the way you think about things and how you address other people. It transforms your life and also transforms how other people respond to you. You become exceptionally magnetic. People feel your aura radiating off of your body and they can feel this good energy. They want to be a part of it when you master true giving. So for those of you who are new to my videos, who haven't seen it before, I take spirituality and make it practical so that you can apply it to manifest your dreams or just live an elevated life. That's the ultimate goal of like my whole channel. So if you don't want to miss a video like that, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and you won't miss another upload. There's something else that I'm going to share with you at the end that you combine with all of these that changes your life. It's how you really manifest at a much higher frequency. So starting out with the observer state. The observer state is something a lot of spiritualists know. It's about being in the spiritual energy of seeing things unfold, right? It's not an actable part. Being an actable part is where you start to inject your energy in different places. What I mean by that is, let's say you're at a dinner with a whole bunch of friends and you're all having this deep conversation and you're in it sharing your perspective about how you remembered that one night when you were all away on holiday, on vacation, doing something in the fire pit and Fred fell over. And you want to share your perspective. You're like, I was sitting right next to him. I could see how he tripped and his shoelace got caught up on his ankle, whatever it is. You want to share that because it's that joyful experience. Now, something really powerful to do is to get out of that sharing and just into the receiving. You're not injecting your perspective anywhere, just sitting back and going, wow, I'm here with all of my friends and I get to listen to them. Just that energy will completely shift the way you experience time with people. A lot of people know about energy vampires and about energy being taken advantage of. Like, I'm sure all of you would have had that experience where you just got that one friend or someone you know that when you spend time with them, your energy just gets drained out. It's like it gets vacuumed right out of you and you're exhausted. This observer state protects you from that because it gets you into an energy of, I'm just observing, I'm not trying to inject. And what will happen is those types of people, it becomes very clear that their energy is just a bit too much for you, and you will healthily create boundaries for those types of people. So this is a very powerful state to get into as the observer. By the way, guys, if you have questions throughout this video or queries or something you want me to personally clarify for your example and whatever you are going through, leave them in the comment section. If you go take a look at all of my old videos, I respond to every single question, query, and we have full-on debates in the comments. A lot of you who are watching and have been here for a while, you guys know I chat to everyone. So once you've got that observer energy and you're like, okay, cool, I'm just being aware of the moment, you move into this feel before reacting. A lot of us react, we say things and do things because the moment provides us the opportunity to. Like that discussion with your friends where you're talking about something and all of that happens and you want to share your piece. That is because of the opportunity in the moment. And it's actually an ego response, not bad, but it's just something that we do out of that space in us. But when you feel first, what happens is your actions and words start to become conscious. You're actually going to consciously choose what you say and do. And that is a very powerful state to be in, even in a work environment. If you're choosing what you say and do, you're accessing a very powerful state. A lot of people become aware of this, especially when you get into this energy. If you're actively choosing what to think, say, and do, people around you become very aware because you're in such a hyper state of awareness and they can feel that, so they become aware. And to do that, the observer state helps so much. And we want our thoughts, actions, our words to be conscious. We want to not say things out of the heat of the moment. How many of us do this in relationships? Say things in the heat of the moment. That's not choosing anything. That's out of anger. That's not out of the authentic person that occupies your story. So to get into that state of going, okay, I'm aware right now, and there's a debate going on about how the friend fell next to the fire and it's all a funny story, and you feel first, wow, that was such a funny experience. And then you add from that energy, whatever you add was actively chosen by the authentic you and not by the emotions of the moment, which are fleeting. That's the difference. It's a very powerful thing to do that highly spiritual people make a habit of. Then we really want to dive into gratitude, because once we are in this energy of I've observed and now I'm saying things consciously, we can be very grateful for everything around us because we're not acting on a whim. We're not acting on a fleeting moment. That energy of gratitude tells the universe a lot. It tells the universe that you are ready to receive. To be in the energy of gratitude, you're saying, I'm thankful for. So the universe says, well, here's more shit to be thankful for. And you feel elated and grateful and appreciative. It just keeps giving you more. To get into the state of being able to appreciate things, it helps to be in that observer state. So that way, from this observer state of like, okay, cool, I'm seeing everything and I'm literally consciously choosing my words and my actions, you will feel an ultimate sense of peace with that. And that's what will allow you to be grateful. That gratitude, what it does is upgrade the energy of the entire environment around you, because people can feel this gratitude. If you're complaining and you're acting on that whim versus actively choosing what you say and being grateful for the moment, people can feel it. This is how people become magnetic in social settings. And this is how you see that one dude that might not be very good looking, but he always ends up with the nicest girls when he goes home at the end of the night. It's because he's in this energy of gratitude. When you're grateful, you don't want something out of it. So you're not trying to angle a conversation in a certain way. You just want to get to know someone to be more grateful. And that gratitude does magic. And if this is something you agree with, like, oh wow, if I was just more grateful, things would be so much better, leave this video a like. I want to see how many of you are like, wow, I can really apply those 3 steps, because now we're getting into something really incredible. We start to get into seeing ourselves in others. It gets a bit difficult when you see people you don't necessarily like, or you see things that you don't like. And I'm going to speak about maybe being homeless. You see someone there that you very clearly know is taking chemicals and they're asking for money. I used to have a very bad reaction to this. Like, this is something I hated because it's a major sense of entitlement. And I battled with entitlement for a long time because I always thought you had to prove your worth and then get rewarded, which since my spiritual awakening has changed. But something that took a long time was to get over how a homeless person doesn't have to work, can sit on chemicals all day and not try. It really bugged me. And for the longest time, I battled with this concept here about seeing myself in them when I didn't feel I was anything like them. But if we look at the energy of someone who's so hopeless, who's given up, who doesn't try, I've been in that state before in other situations. Maybe not as a homeless person who's entitled to things, but I've been there going, I deserve it and I never got any recognition and that hurt and that sucked and it put me in a deep, dark state. I've done very well with my music, and even in school, I pushed very hard. And I was about 16 years old in 10th grade, and I had a record label opportunity where they were like, we really want you to come work with us. And the first thing they said was, don't cut your hair. Now in South Africa, you have to have uniforms at school. Like, it's just the way it works. And part of your uniform is your hair. It couldn't go below your eyebrows, and it couldn't touch your collar around the back, and it couldn't be over your ears, and the line had to be perfect. Like, there couldn't be a step. So here you can see I've got a step change. That was not allowed. It had to be a tennis ball transition. So a smooth thing. And that's actually how we had to dress for school. And my record label turned around and said to me, tell the school they can call us. And I thought I was like hot as shit there. I went and pulled the card out. I said, contact my label when they told me to cut my hair. And they were like, okay. And they did. And all they did was pull me out of inspection. We used to have inspection to make sure that we had clean shoes. We didn't have holes in our clothes. Everything was perfect. I remember I had to leave the school because I was pursuing music and I wanted to pursue that, and the school was like an inhibitor, so I finished my schooling in homeschool. And I remember feeling so bad about this one aspect. I had done something that no other student had done. I had a record label at 16 years old and had no recognition from the school. In South Africa, when you achieve something, they bring you up in front of the whole school and congratulate you, even if it's not school related. And this was something I would think would warrant that recognition. But because I couldn't follow the school rules, they cut me out. And I remember feeling so done in by, like the world was against me. The school was against me. How could I not get recognition? And what that was a need for recognition. And in that awareness of the desire for recognition in me, I now started to see it in these people. They just want recognition. They just want to feel certain things. Yes, of course, there's a lot of choice that made their outcome happen. But at the same time, I could finally see myself in them. And what I realized when I saw myself in them is that I see myself in everyone else. when someone cuts me off in traffic. I have a car that I enjoy driving and I have fun with my car. And a lot of other people probably think, what a dickhead. Like, that must be what they're thinking, because some of the ways I drive might be questionable. But the thing in a nutshell is there is a bit of you in everyone, and you wouldn't identify anything that you could have an emotional response to if you didn't understand it. So like a sense of entitlement that I battled with. I must have a sense of entitlement. And I did, thinking I was entitled to recognition from the school when I couldn't even follow their rules. That is very entitled. So ultimately, it's about seeing you in others and empathizing, getting yourself to that level and going, okay, well, things could happen. Shit could go bad for me. I get how that just is what it is. And that leads you into this energy of truly giving. Giving is a different game altogether. Giving is not something that we think it is. And a lot of us are confused on this. So I hope this really wows you, like blows your mind like it did for me. I was driving and I saw a homeless dude, which is why I use the homeless dude as the example. And he had a cardboard sign saying, I hate beggars too. And it was like a shock that it was this awareness of how other people felt. Now this guy was very clearly on chemicals, and this was a very manipulative sales tactic that really worked. But that shock just made me very aware of him and how it must be to be him. That he goes, everyone hates me. And I felt that before. I'm sure all of us have at some point gone, everybody hates me. And I thought that feeling must be crap. And I saw myself in him there. And I grabbed all of the change I had in my wallet and I handed it out the window. Coins were falling off of his hands. And he was just, thank you, trying to pick it up. And we drove off. And my girlfriend's mom turned to me and said, you know, he's just going to use that for drugs. And I remember just thinking, it's none of my business what he does with it. I wanted to give. And this is the mistake we often make, is we think giving is a transaction. I will give you more attention, babe, if you rub my feet more. That's a transaction. There's no giving there. There's no giving if you're expecting something in return. So if you give out of the nature of just giving, that is a powerful state to be in, and it's a habit that highly spiritual people practice a lot. The art of giving, and it is quite an art. To give is not to expect anything back. But if we look what that's saying spiritually, to give someone something, I have so much that I have more to spare. That's what you're telling the universe. I have so much that I have more to spare. I have so much that I can spare to everyone. I'm not saying go give all of the money in your wallet away. You still need to live a human life. But that energy of giving without an expectation, even that would be an expectation. I'm going to give my money away because I'm expecting it to come back. Then it becomes a transaction again. If you just give out of the energy of enjoying sharing with someone because you've identified you in them, then you're giving to yourself. You're literally giving to you, and that's what's going to start manifesting things back to you. So if you give and give out of the desire to get the feeling that happens with giving, that's being a true giver. So you can see why I structured it like this, where I showed you first get into the state of the observer, then feel and react consciously, and then be grateful, see yourself in everyone, and then give. This whole setup is something highly spiritual people do, and it naturally manifests abundance back to them. Now, I told you there was something really exciting to combine this with. Consistency is like adding spice to plain food. This is all substance. It's all sustenance, it's protein, it's your carbs, it's a balanced meal. But you really want to enjoy the taste. Consistency is the spice. It's the salt, it's the seasoning, it's the sauce. And what we have to do is get into that state of doing it over again. Now, I'm not saying run and find an opportunity to give every day. If you want to do that, that's great. But just like if I was kind to you one day and then a dickhead for 10 days, what would your recognition of me be? Not a kind person. Maybe bipolar. But you wouldn't look at me and say, he's always a kind person, even if I was feeling that inside. So what we have to do is find a way to do it consistently over time. What that starts to do is build bricks that make up the foundation and the walls of this new identity, which will be recognized through how the universe works and how you manifest things. Consistency plus gratitude equals natural abundance. That's the formula to manifesting wealth, cars, good relationships, opportunities, freedom. It's gratitude plus consistency. If you stick to this over time and you keep finding reasons to feel this elated feeling that comes from this, everything in your life will change. It's really incredible. I really hope to hear your thoughts. Guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Did anything stand out? Thanks so much for watching to this point. If you don't want to miss another video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and I'll catch you in the next video. Mad love and light.